Whenever you are ready, my friend.
Okay. Marijuana is one of the most popular drugs in the world. It is easily accessible, comes in many forms, and even has a rich historical past. However, despite this drug's increasing commonality in society, it is still a drug. Those who want recreational marijuana legalized have many solid reasons, but more often than not, they only embellish Florida facts that don't provide the whole story. Recreational marijuana should not be legalized due to its many drawbacks on both the users of this drug and society as a whole.
Okay, introduction on the pro side.
As it stands, over half of the states in the country have legalized recreational or medicinal marijuana, according to state-specific and often Florida laws. It has also been decriminalized in many states for recreational use in reasonable amounts. Recreational marijuana legalization offers an opportunity for profit and better regulation, and also allows for a decrease in arrests for nonviolent drug offenses. There's a severe disparity between state and federal laws concerning recreational marijuana. However, more and more states continue to introduce their own legislation, and there's a strong case to be made in their support. Recreational marijuana should be legalized.
35 seconds. The con side was 28 seconds as an introduction. Point 1, con.
Long-term effects of marijuana are not just deterioration of the brain, but it eventually leads to those who smoke marijuana to become addicted to other drugs. This is defined as a gateway drug. Similar to alcohol, those who smoke marijuana on a regular basis build up a very strong tolerance to these highs. Many people think that nicotine is the sole reason why people become addicted to marijuana, which is a very addictive substance that acts as a stimulant in small doses, but in large amounts blocks the response of both the nerve and skeletal muscle cells. As source 9 refers to, teens are using cigarettes and alcohol less, but they're smoking more marijuana because they do not perceive it to be as harmful as did teens in the past. This shows that teens are not being properly educated in the schools also about the long-term effects of marijuana if they believe it to be a safe drug. Nevertheless, the high is what actually brings those people to come back to smoking the drug. This drug makes people feel an opulent comfort in which many cannot live without. People become so dependent on the highs of marijuana that eventually takes over their personalities. After this nightmare becomes a reality, these regular marijuana smokers have built up such a high tolerance toward their highs that they now begin to look for another, more powerful and dangerous drug. This new drug will give this person their desired high as they once achieved from their first couple times smoking marijuana. As according to source 2, Richard Lowry believes that much more potent in Lowry's argument against the conventional wisdom that pot is a gateway drug, too much harder substances such as LSD, cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. This shows that marijuana is a gateway drug because it can lead into people later experiencing with new drugs. All of these drugs are on a much worse level than marijuana, like heroin, for example. Heroin is an opioid drug and is one of the most highly addictive drugs on the market. Over 80% of people who have reportedly used heroin say that they have misused this drug. What I'm trying to get at is that marijuana is not just a drug that people use once or twice. The long-term effects outweigh the short-term highs by a substantial margin. This whole idea may seem peculiar, ornate to you, but in the end, marijuana leads people into a life for the worse.
Okay, 2 plus. Rebuttal.
There is almost no evidence to suggest marijuana is a gateway drug. Yale did a study that, while it concluded that 34% of cannabis users do go on to abuse prescription drugs, that same study also concluded that 56% of abusers begin with alcohol and 51% begin with tobacco. Furthermore, Congress in 1999 commissioned a study that found there was no evidence to suggest that marijuana use ultimately led to the abuse of more dangerous drugs. This study was repeated in 2003 and 2006, but all those studies parallel the same amount of data. The Marijuana is also not declared a gateway drug by DARE, who removed the drug from their list of gateway drugs, while alcohol and tobacco are still on that exact same list and they are both legal. And the National Institute of Drug Abuse, a government agency, directly says on their website, the majority of people who use marijuana don't go on to abuse or use other harder drugs.
53 seconds. Point 1 pro.
To embellish what Lydia previously stated, recreational marijuana should be legalized. Prohibition is more expensive to enforce than what can be gained. The Police Alliance is wasting time trying to catch recreational drug users instead of trying to catch rapists and murderers. Obviously, manpower should be used more productively at finding those that put others in harm. By keeping these people in prison for ostentatious reasons, taxpayers are forced to pay higher taxes to house and feed these people. If recreational marijuana were legalized, enforcement costs would be zero, and government could levy taxes on the production and sale of marijuana. This way, the government expenditure would decline and tax revenue would increase. The extra money saved would immediately increase and impact the government's amount of spending money. According to Source 6, marijuana legalization would reduce government expenditures by roughly $8 billion annually. Approximately $5.5 billion of this would come from decreased state and local expenditures, and approximately $2.5 billion from decreased federal expenditures. At the state and local levels, the reduced expenditures would consist of $1.8 billion spent less on police, $3.2 billion spent less on prosecutions. Imprisoning these people also does not ensure that their illegal actions will not be repeated. However, the increased use of marijuana in society should not be considered a bad thing. As stated in Source 9, the increased use of marijuana appears to be contributing to the historically low usage of alcohol and cigarettes with teens. Rather than attempting to prohibit the use of marijuana, people should be trying to educate teens on the risks of more harmful substances such as pills and alcohol. Overall, these attempts taken by the government to prohibit the use of marijuana is extremely costly and a waste of precious time and manpower.
1 minute 40 seconds. Rebuttal.
You stated that the enforcement cost for prohibition of marijuana is large, but that cost would just change from prohibiting it to going to taking care of crime that increases, accidents that increases, and car accidents that increase if marijuana was legalized. And also you say taxes would go up, but does that mean that you're implying that you're okay with the government prospering while the people suffer? Thank you.
26 seconds. Point 2.
Recreational marijuana users have shown a decrease in performance with coordination in the operation of machines such as cars while under the influence. According to a poignant study in California, nearly 1,000 deaths and injuries occur each year are blamed directly on drug drivers. And according to the Director of National Drug Control Policy, Gil Karolowski, marijuana is one of the main factors that are contributing to the increase in the number of drug-related accidents. Only 15 states moved to a zero-tolerance rule, which means if any level of drug is in your body, you will be held responsible. However, due to the lack of knowledge of the effects of marijuana, many states have not moved to the zero-tolerance rule. The reasoning for this is due to the fact that our society has much more knowledge about the effects of other drugs, such as alcohol, so making that a zero-tolerance drug is okay. But since we do not know anything about the effects of marijuana or how long it will last, the zero-tolerance rule does not affect this drug, which result is even worse because our society is allowing people to be intoxicated with the drug with unknown effects and still allow them to function motorized vehicles in public, even if they only have a small amount of THC in their body. Even the slightest amount of THC in the body may cause some people to have a feeling of torpor. The states that do not have a zero-tolerance rule are also basing level intoxications off of the discrepancy of the officer present at the scene. This system is completely flawed due to the fact that officers cannot physically tell the level of intoxication of the person driving by basing them on tests of coordination, such as alcohol. And the officers do not want to make an ostentatious remark about the level of THC in somebody and be wrong. Furthermore, according to Marilyn Husis, a toxologist and one of the nation's top experts on marijuana at the National Institute of Drug Abuse, who is directing several research programs, stated that any amount of marijuana in someone's body will affect the ability to drive safely. Many people believe that only if a small amount of THC enters the cells, the body will be able to still function fully. But that was disproven. Any amount of THC in the cells of the body will inhibit the ability to perform simple skills such as walking and talking clearly.
1 minute 52 seconds. Rebuttal. Rebuttal?
You were talking about how the use of marijuana would inhibit your ability to drive, but the legalization of marijuana, just as alcohol is legal, would not allow you to drive, and it would still be illegal to drive while under the influence. So all of that information is irrelevant to this argument.
17 seconds. Point 2. Pro.
Recreational marijuana should be legalized across the country because it is incredibly profitable. States that have legalized recreational marijuana have already proven how greatly the substance benefits our economy. The United States prisons spend about $1 billion annually on inmates with marijuana-related charges. Taxpayers unknowingly spend over $40 million on the prohibition of marijuana each year, which makes one feel listless to learn. Source 6 states that the legalization of marijuana would generate over $2 billion annually. Colorado has legalized the use of the substance and is bathing in the benefits. Thousands of jobs have been created for American workers. Billions of dollars have been acquired. And the overall crime in the state has decreased greatly, leading to less money spent on criminal charges. A great deal of our nation's population already invests in marijuana, and the money the substance generates is wasted into groups our nation cannot benefit from. Government funds will benefit. Money will be taken away from the wrongful hands and placed into those that can actually help the country overall, explained in Source 7. Many argue incorrectly that marijuana is a gateway drug and economic benefits don't outweigh this incorrect fact. Along with marijuana, not even considered a gateway drug by DARE any longer, prohibition isn't effective and is no longer a valid method of protection. Prohibition doesn't increase the opulent aspects of today's society. Prohibition creates a dangerous black market. If our country legalized marijuana, our economy would flourish. The profitability pros of the legalization of recreational marijuana are too apparent to ignore.
1 minute, 40 seconds. Rebuttal?
So you guys said that the economic prosperity of the state would outweigh anything else, but again, the state will prosper while the people are suffering. People in Colorado homelessness has gone up since it has been legalized, since marijuana has been legalized. So yes, the state is prospering from all of their economic benefits, but people are suffering.
And then also, going back to the rebuttal you had, you said even though it would be illegal to drive under the influence of marijuana, if we legalize it, it would only increase the possibility of somebody getting in a car under the influence.
And people still drive drunk even though it's illegal.
Exactly. Thank you.
45 seconds.